Today's episode is sponsored by Land Gorilla, the premier software for managing renovation and construction loans. Let's face it, renovation loans can be messy, but your draw management shouldn't be. Land Gorilla brings draw requests, disbursements, change orders, and project data all into one single experience. The platform eliminates communication gaps so you can deliver faster draws and scale your pipeline safely. Learn more at landgorilla.com. One of the easiest mistakes a mortgage loan officer or a processor can make is assuming that contractor licensing works the same everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say the contractor is licensed. My next questions are always, how are they licensed? And where are they licensed? Those are two completely different questions. For example, many people confuse a business license with a contractor's license. Just because somebody has a business license or has formed an LLC or a corporation doesn't necessarily mean they're licensed or registered to perform general contracting work where the property is located. Those are two completely different things. A business license allows somebody to operate a business. A contractor's license or registration, if and when it's required, relates to their authority to perform contracting work. They're not the same thing. Then comes the second question. Where are they licensed or registered? Because contractor licensing and registration doesn't happen the same way everywhere. Depending on where the property is located, licensing or registration can occur at the state level, the county level, or at the level of the local municipality, and sometimes maybe even more than one of those. Today's episode really isn't about contractor licensing per se. It's about knowing what questions to ask and developing a process for finding the right answers. One project in particular taught me a lesson I will not soon forget. The property was located in what everybody believed was an unincorporated area. We did our homework. We contacted the county. The county confirmed that they had jurisdiction over licensing and permitting in this unincorporated area. Great. That's exactly the kind of due diligence we should be doing. Then the loan closed and the contractor went to pull permits. And suddenly, and without much explanation, everything changed. The contractor was told that it was the city, not the county, that actually had jurisdiction over that property. I don't remember all the details, something about the mapping, lots of confusion. Basically, it meant that the contractor couldn't simply go ahead and pull permits and get started. After all that research, after talking directly with the governing authority, it turned out that the information we'd been given wasn't correct. At first, it was incredibly frustrating. We thought we had done everything right. We contacted the right authority. We documented what we'd been told, and it still wasn't enough. Looking back, though, the experience taught me something new that I've carried with me ever since. Due diligence isn't about guaranteeing that nothing will ever go wrong. It's about being able to say you asked the right questions, you consulted the right sources, and you made the best decision that you could make with the information that was available at the time. That's all any of us can do. Sometimes even the governing authorities disagree or get it wrong. Sometimes jurisdictions change. Sometimes mistakes happen. Our responsibility isn't to eliminate every surprise, it's to manage risk as thoughtfully as we can. One of the best habits I've ever developed wasn't trying to memorize contractor licensing requirements. It was building my own playbook. Every time I researched a state, a county, a town, or a city, I documented what I learned. That way, I wasn't starting from scratch every time I originated a renovation loan in that area. I was building a resource that my entire team could rely on. If you're building or growing a renovation lending platform, I'd encourage you to create something similar. Track what you've already learned about licensing and registration requirements. Keep links to contractor license lookup tools. If in the process you find direct contacts to the building department, to planning and zoning departments, document those. And document workers' compensation requirements for each state. And don't stop there. Track the types of permits that are commonly required in each jurisdiction, and remember to keep the links to those websites so that your team knows exactly where to go when additional research is required. The goal isn't to know everything. The goal is to know where to find reliable information quickly. That's exactly why I encourage you to build a playbook of your own for your team. Every time you research a licensing requirement, every time you discover which permits are typically required, every time you identify a direct contact with the building department, planning, development, capture that information. Every renovation loan makes your team a little smarter, so you can make sure that the next loan benefits from what you've already learned on the last one. Don't lose that knowledge once the loan closes. But I want to be clear about one thing. I'm not suggesting that mortgage loan officers become experts in contractor licensing laws. That's not our role. Our role is to recognize when licensing, registration, or permitting may become an issue, know where to look for the reliable information, and ask the right questions before a missing or an expired license or an inability to pull a permit delays the project. One of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is this: every assumption you eliminate now is one less surprise waiting somewhere down the line. That's especially true when it comes to contractors. A contractor can be an excellent remodeler. They may honestly believe that they're authorized to perform the work. But if they're expanding into a neighboring county or a municipality for the first time, they may not realize additional registration or permitting requirements apply there. It's just simply another reason why verifying the information is always better than assuming. In closing, remember the two questions we started with: how are contractors licensed? And where are they licensed? If you consistently ask those two questions, you'll prevent a lot of problems that may surface before you can get to the closing table, and you're going to set your draw management team up for success. Contractor licensing isn't just about paperwork. It's about protecting everybody involved in the transaction: the borrower, the contractor, the lender, and ultimately your reputation. Build systems that help you to find reliable information. Ask good questions. Verify whatever you can. And remember, sometimes even after you've done all of your due diligence, you've done everything right, you're still going to encounter surprises. It's not a sign that you failed. It's simply the reality of managing renovation projects. I'd like to invite a little bit of listener engagement. I'd love to hear from you. Has your team created some sort of job aid or an internal resource to track contractor licensing and registration? Or have you encountered a licensing, registration, or permitting issue that taught you an important lesson? Sometimes the best systems are built from real life experiences, and I'd love to hear what's worked for you. Send me your stories, questions, or future topic ideas to jennifer@therenogal.com, or leave me a message at 844-RENOGAL and follow the prompts. Thank you for spending a part of your day with me. This is Renovate Ed for Lenders. Thank you for listening to Renovate Ed for Lenders. This episode was brought to you by Land Gorilla. Deliver clarity to borrowers, contractors, and your operations team with the industry's most trusted draw management solutions. Visit landgorilla.com today.